for the We're really sorry for the inconvenience caused, first of all. Actually, ma'am is traveling, as a result of which there are technical glitches from her end. But she is here and she'll be speaking for the session, definitely. And we are really thankful to you also for waiting and showing so much patience from your side. Thank you so much. We'll just start in a while. Actually, she's traveling. She's in a car or so. And that's why she's tried joining from the laptop and then from her phone. But still, there are network glitches. So she'll be starting soon, and I request our General Secretary, Riali, to kindly start with the introduction. So ma'am is already here, so we could start. Thank you so much.
A very warm and amiable good evening to everyone present here. I'm Riali Patle, the General Secretary of NISHTHA, the Civil Service Society of Hansraj College. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a very warm welcome to our Honorable Chief Guest, Ms. Urvi Verma ma'am, our respected Principal, Dr. Rama ma'am, our esteemed convener, Dr. Mahendra Prajapati sir, and the august audience on the behalf of NISHTHA Society for the third day of our unparalleled flagship event of the session 2021-22, Avik 21. NISHTHA is an ingenious and distinctive initiative of Hansraj College with an aim to provide a vibrant platform for the ardent civil service aspirants to converse. Cherishing the motto of NISHTHA Diti Satyam, we at NISHTHA visualize a panoptic and multidisciplinary approach for helping the budding civil servants in streaming their preparation for the coveted UPSC examination. This is evident in the multifarious sessions that we conduct with prominent officers and scholars in and around the field of civil services. It has been rightly said by Rabindranath Tagore, you can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. On this note, I would like to announce our today's topic of discussion, navigating challenges in the preparation of CSE, the right strategy. And for discussing on such a pivotal topic, we have with us one of the most scintillating figure from the field of civil services, Ms. Urvi Verma ma'am, a BTech graduate from the Institute of Engineering and Technology, Lucknow. Ms. Verma ma'am cracked the prestigious civil service examination in 2019 and carved a niche for herself in the Indian bureaucracy. Currently, she is under training in the Customs and Central Excise Department of the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. I welcome you, ma'am, on the behalf of NISHTHA Society and Hansraj family, and request to you kindly take over the forum and initiate your address. Thank you. And over to you, ma'am.
Hello. Hi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really sorry. As you can see, I just stopped by at some place to attend this, and there is no excuse. I also read a few comments. People were getting a little anxious and impatient, and I completely understand that. So extreme, like really sorry. But I'll try to make up for it. But thank you so much for patiently waiting for so long.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Sure. So, should I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I mean, the topic in itself is navigating through the journey, right, of UPSC. And I keep telling everyone that the first step for even deciding to prepare for UPSC civil service examination is you need to have a proper motivation for it, right? You don't want to replicate someone else's life. Please don't do that. Like, have mercy on yourself and don't do that to yourself. That just because I want to live a life that that person is living, especially on Instagram or Twitter or some other social media profile, where I'll tell you what, everything, we don't show what the dark sides are or what we're going through as humans as well. So let's not first make it very clear why you want to join the bureaucracy. I'll tell you my reason. Maybe that will help him sort this out. So for me, the biggest the biggest reason for me to join the bureaucracy was basically I thought of India as a huge country, right? It is so diverse. It has people of so many religion and regions and languages and food and culture and everything. And we're living in this huge country in such one of the biggest and strongest democracies in the world. Of course, we have frictions that every country has, just like a family. Thodi bahut, we'll have certain fights and everything. But as a country, we've grown so much and we have so much potential in ourselves, and that we have been exploring throughout the years, and we'll be exploring that in the future as well. For me, what I used to think is, how is this all being managed? And when I thought about it and I read about it, it was actually the Indian bureaucracy. If you think about it, every part of the bureaucracy, be it the revenue service, be it the administrative service, the police service, the postal service for that matter, all of these services are doing their bit, and that's how the entire country is running. So when I thought about it, I felt that, okay, fine. So basically, if I ever get to be a part of this prestigious service, it will be a huge honor for me. So that was my motivation and my, the thing that encouraged me to join the services. So one should be very clear of why they want to join the services. It can be very unique to you. It does not have to make sense to anyone else. It need to make only sense to you, so that it keeps you motivated throughout the journey. Because the journey is very taxing, mentally, physically, aspect of your life. It will drain you out completely. You will have practically almost nil social life. You'll have to give up on a lot of things. And at the end, you feel that, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? So I think it's very important to have a proper motivation and why you want to join or start the services. After that, I think if I come to the technical part, once you have all of these things sorted, if you have a good family support, if you have good friends around you, I think it gives you one of the most conducive environments to start the preparation. Now, there are two types of aspirants. One are the one who are already in services or are working in certain offices, MNCs, etc. And those others, youngsters like you all, who are in college and have decided to start preparing really early in life. And I think it always comes in advantage because you're very fresh. Your minds are still, I would say, not mainly. It is prone to power is much more those who are already in the service. In my opinion, my personal opinion, don't quote me on this. But I really feel this is one of the best times to start the preparation. You have ample amount of time in terms of figuring things out for yourself and making things, picking out different strategies that work for you, what is unique for you, listening to these talks that may or may not help you. I'm not giving you any sort of guarantee, but it's always good to have those things. In your case, I would say number one is don't have strategies and have a strategy that is unique to you. So one thing that one should always start with syllabus for the examination. When you look at the syllabus of the examination, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So first thing is to look at the syllabus of the examination. It is available everywhere. Almost you just Google it and you'll find the syllabus. And after you look at the syllabus, you'll have to just make sure that you understand what is required. For example, if you think you have a prowess over polity, so then try and make sure that in your timetable of studies or whatever you want to study, you have to study everything, but then you give priority to those subjects that you feel you're not very well versed with. For example, some people are really good with history, so they should focus more on geography. Those who are very good at geography, and not by good, I don't mean that they don't have to study those topics at all. You have to study everything, but it is about prioritizing. So that initial phase may, if you focus on the subjects that you're not very comfortable with, you can give a little more time to them and then move to the subjects that you're comfortable with. Now, again, there are two strategies. Either you take up 2 to 3 subjects at a time and divide your day in such a way that you start with polity for half a day, then you do geography for half a day. And some people do that for the next 3-4 weeks. I'm just going to stick to polity. I'm going to study everything about it and just be through with it. So it is to each their own. After doing that, after taking a look at the syllabus and making a proper plan about it, then you take a look at the previous year's question papers. So before even starting with the basic books, take a look at the previous year's question paper, it might scare you or it might give you some sort of confidence. Just make sure that you are neither underconfident nor overconfident, because UPSC can test people who clear it even once. They also cannot give you the guarantee that they can clear it again. It is a very, very tough, technical and complex process that I don't think any one of us has figured out completely. We just know that whoever clears the examination, for sure they worked hard, but there was a bit of luck as well. So don't be so hard on yourself. See, not everything is in our hands. So start with, for example, after previous year's question paper, just go through it in a way that you understand what is required from you and you understand the language. And then you decide whether you want to take coaching or you can do it on your own. If you can do it on your own, best. Because I personally never found coaching very beneficial for me, although I have attended a prestigious coaching in Delhi. I didn't find it very useful, but for some people it has been useful. So I mean, to each their own. So for that, I think you should first go through the previous year's question papers and decide for yourself. After that, take a look at the basic books. Now, basic books again are available on the internet. You don't have to read multiple books. Stick to the basic books and read it multiple times. Because that way, you will be able to have multiple revision of the same book and your at least basics will be through. And when you're thorough with your basics, then a lot of the things, including be it the preliminary state, be the mains, be it the interview, you'll be able to clear it. I mean, it will be much more easier for you. Ma'am, basic books means NCRTs with it. Basic books are mostly NCRTs. Along with it, for example, in polity, there is Lakshmikant. For geography, I stuck to NCRTs. Some people go for GC Leong. You can do that. For economics, again, newspapers. Yes. How can I forget newspapers? Before anything else, I mean, forget everything that I just said. Right now, from this very moment, from tomorrow onwards, start reading a newspaper daily. Now, it can be, I would strongly recommend The Hindu. It helped me a lot. But some people also go for the Indian Express. But don't go for any other newspaper beyond these two, because I don't find it very helpful. But then again, if you're from Hindi medium, then there is another Navbharat Times and everything. That Sakshi is asking, should we make notes out of newspaper? No, don't waste your time on making notes from the newspaper, Sakshi. So what I used to do was a lot of time off my hands. So newspaper, if you haven't read it properly, or if you have not been reading properly, then you'll realize that a lot of news in the newspaper is not at all related to the examination, and we waste a lot of time on reading those newspapers. So first, take the newspaper, and it might take you at least 2 hours to give the newspaper. Okay, just hold on a second. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ अच्छा I got some AirPods लेकिन काम नहीं कर रहे हैं. चलो कोई नहीं, I'll just ऐसे ही कर लेते हैं फिर. Yeah, so newspaper में you have to start with 2 hours of newspaper reading लग जाता है at first, and then try to reduce that duration to at least 45 minutes. अच्छा 45 minutes से कम नहीं करना है. Under no circumstances, don't be overconfident. 45 minutes you should spend on news. Used not only in the preliminary but also in the mains and also in the personality test round, right? So don't neglect the newspaper. No matter आपका pre निकल गया है या mains के result का wait करो, doesn't matter. Even if you're doing nothing, if you don't feel like studying at all, तब भी कोई बात नहीं. But do read the newspaper. Make it like just like you brush your teeth and you eat food and drink water, just like that, read the newspaper. You won't read the newspaper as well. Audio video is buffering.
Ma'am, your voice is a little bit breaking.
Oh, okay. Voice is breaking.
Now it's fine.
Now it's fine?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so all I was saying was that newspaper reading may make it a habit, and the topics that you need to read. No, so again, you will find why I didn't ask you to make the notes is because if the news is really important, then those news will be in repetition for 3 to 4 days. Lagatar it will be in the news. That way it will again any day register in your head. Now make notes of very small things. For example, agar certain medals were won, certain Nobel prizes were won, so on what topics they were won and what and this and that. And mostly you have to supplement newspaper with the current affairs magazines that are available in the market. You can take up any coaching institute's monthly magazine newspaper, current affairs wali, and it will be more than sufficient, right? So don't, it's all about prioritizing your time and making sure that you're not like investing a lot of time in something that will not give you that much of benefit. You have to give almost equal amount of time to newspaper, then to static portion, and to answer writing, and to practicing test series, and so forth. I mean, it is endless, but you will figure it out. It will come very naturally to you. At first, thoda sa hota na, you're really clueless कि एकदम सब बहुत सारा material आ गया है, how to start, what to do. So my strong advice would be, it is up to you for you to take it or not, but start with newspaper, then start with NCRT. Now NCRT ki you start the basic reading. Ayush is asking editorial section. Editorial so you have to read, but abhi kuch editorial aa jate which are not very relevant. For example, but then again that can be made relevant. For example, my optional was sociology. So whenever I used to find editorials on even Bollywood ki topics pe, so I would read it, because you never know ki when will I be. I mean, I might use that in one of my answers in mains. social aspect पे या society में क्या चल रहा है. So whenever you quote contemporary example, right, it makes your answer really fresh. It doesn't look like one of those generic answers जो coaching वाले रटा देते हैं, and it gives you an edge in the competition. At the end of the day, it is all about the competition, right? 10 lakh people appear in the prelims, and out of which 700 make it to the list, out of which again 300 200 get their service of their choice, out of which again, I mean, the race is endless. I'll tell you what, even after getting selected, it's not like now we're all set back. Abhi bhi training mein, you can imagine I'm like traveling in between and trying to make this thing work, and ekdam end moment where I got a meeting or ye wo, so it is not very, but then you feel satisfied and content. I think somebody asked me about the magazine also, no? Current affairs I used to read Vision ka magazine, Vision IS. So I mean, it was comfortable for me. Rao's ka bhi is very good. Vajiram ki is also there. So what about notes ka NCRT? So I'll tell you NCRT ka, what I used to do was, I first gave a basic reading to the NCRTs, 11th and 12th ka. Then I had a look at the previous year's question papers. Then again, I read the NCRT. I think I must have read NCRTs at least 100 times. But you start with one reading, then go back to the previous year's question paper, and proper normal underlining kar loge, bahut ho jayega. NCRT in itself is so patla sa, how can you make notes out of it? Basically, aapke notes will, it is useless. If you have one of those habits where you can't remember things without writing, then of course you can do whatever you feel like. If you feel like by writing you can remember things, that then up to you. But there is no need to make notes out of NCRT. But don't leave them. You have to be in touch with NCRTs, and chahe wo interview ho, chahe mains ho, chahe prelims ho, just give a brief reading of it, especially for geography and economics. It helps. Uske alawa standard books, you start with the standard books. Once you're done with NCRT, start with the standard books, and be like, remember that never give up on the newspaper. That has to be your religious book for everything. Even if you're an atheist, become a religious and just make it your religious book, because you cannot give up on the newspaper. Political science का तो यार मुझे नहीं इतना idea. I mean, people have Shubhra Ranjan notes. There's a very famous ma'am. Yes, the very famous coaching of Shubhra Ranjan ma'am, I guess. Her notes are very famous, so you can get that from there. What do you want me to tell? Something about having too good handwriting about mains exam. Vishal. See, handwriting ऐसी होनी चाहिए that decent हो, and the examiner is able to read your answers. Too good का तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. You don't get extra marks for good handwriting here. It is not that. Just make sure that your content should prevail over everything else. Nothing else. And your content should also be simple. When it comes to, अच्छा मैं पहले prelims का बताती थी, then I'll move to mains. So the basic is this, right? So for like first 3 months at least, newspaper पे and NCRTs complete कर लो. for then in the next 3 months try to complete your basic books, and then make sure that you keep revising it regularly. ठीक है. For newspaper also I would say कि आपने जो थोड़े बहुत भी notes बनाए हैं, तो you at the end of the month when you're revising with your current affairs monthly magazine, you have a look at the newspaper as well and supplement कर लो, and that way you know you have to be very thorough with it क्योंकि इतनी ज़्यादा knowledge है. I don't think you can our brain, it's humanly impossible to keep everything in your head. So it's all about how you're able to recall it at the time of your examination, and that will come from multiple revision. So don't worry about it. Just do your bit. Yeah, just keep working hard. Then after Vaishnavi Mittal, first year college, abhi to enjoy kar lo yaar. Why first year college mein? You should also have a life, you know. And UPSC civil service examination is, of course, you have to make your life, but whatever experiences that you gain as a college goer, everything that all comes in handy. You know, learn how to speak, you participate in as many events as possible, gain confidence. This will all come in handy. And I would say in your final year, I think start preparing when other people are looking for jobs and whatever, if you feel whatever you want to decide. Ideally, first year se bhi kar lo, but first year mein karna hai to I think stick to newspapers and NCRTs. Don't overdo, because pattern bhi change hota rehta hai. It's not like the pattern is going to stay the same. So what if Sara hard work should not go in vain, right? So don't worry about it. First year, but have fun, please. Because after UPSC, life is fun, no doubt. But that every college life, you know, I missed. So have fun, and you're from such a prestigious. Waste your time there, na? Itna zyada chill bhi karo thoda. Right. अच्छा ठीक है. Everything, all sort of stream. Someone is asking me BSc good enough. सब कुछ good enough है यार. Doesn't matter which trade you're coming from, which field you're coming from, what has been your background, be it the place you belong to or the college that you've gone to, the school that you've attended. Nothing matters. All that matters is how much you're well versed with the current affairs and how do you take and perceive things. For example, you have to not appear, but you have to be empathetic with a lot of situations that is happening in the society. You should have a strong take on a lot of things. You should not be one of those diplomats jo ki nahi, I don't know, I want to stay away from these things. No, you have to have a strong stand on certain things and be very clear on what are your logics behind it. And you just have to mention it and be very clear and बहुत ही articulate तरीके से you have to mention it in your mains answer. And whenever such questions are asked in your personality test, then be clear and firm about it. If they ask you about a certain situation, what is your take on it? Tell them fearlessly that this is my take and this is what I feel and this is the certain belief from which these sort of emotions are coming from. Don't become too emotional and sentimental, but be very practical about it. You know, youth of the country right now are very clear and very fair, and I feel one of the best generations that we've had in a while. We're open to a lot of things. We have I don't think हम में से आएंगे लोग जो कहेंगे no, this is not allowed and that is not allowed. No, we want freedom and liberty in everything. So just express that fearlessly and be very clear. Belief system आपका सही होना चाहिए, and that will come from when you start reading newspaper and when you learn about a lot of things, because everything and anything under the sky comes in the UPSC paper. So imagine with such knowledge you gain a lot of confidence as well. So वहाँ पे you'll feel कि हाँ ठीक है, I have enough knowledge to support my stand on whatever I'm trying to say. Right, so that is there. After so prelims ke liye, I would say start giving the test series at least 2 months before the prelims. There are a lot of test series available in the market. Join them. Free में मिल जाएगा, internet पे मिल जाएगा, telegram पे भी मिल जाता है. You can do that. Prelims is objective based, so guesswork बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. So with a lot of practice, you'll learn how to eliminate options and how to be very clear of a lot of things. Standard books, basics, NCRTs हो गए. हाँ, after prelims, I would say कि prelims के 2 महीने पहले prelims से तो stick to एकदम strictly start prelim की preparation. But before that, try to complete your optional. Now, some options are really lengthy, some are very short. So depending on whatever your interests are, go for that optional. Because at the end of the day, you have to know a lot about that optional. That optional cannot be बहुत ही shallow, because everything else जो GS general studies में आता है, you should have a shallow knowledge about everything. You need to know about everything, but uska shallow chal jayega. But in optional, you have to know things in depth. So to know things in depth, you have to have that interest as well, right? It cannot be कि नहीं पसंद आ रहा है तो यार फिर भी चल रहा है कर रहे हैं. You cannot have that attitude. So be very clear. So look at the syllabus of various options that you think might interest you. look at the previous year's question papers and then take a decision and take a call. Also talk to your seniors or people who have cleared the examination with the same optional, and do whatever you think you can do and take a call on that, because optional actually is a very crucial aspect. I actually was very weak in my optional. I did not score very well in my optional, but मेरा interest sociology में था, so I don't think I could have taken up any other subject. But I know where I lagged and what could I have done better. थोड़ा lack of practice था. So answer writing practice is one thing. Once you're done with basic books, once you know कि हाँ हमें tick भी करना आ गया है, so try to solve 5 objective questions daily, which is available on a lot of websites, and try to write at least one answer from any paper. For example, GS1, GS2, जो भी है, and try to solve previous year's question papers. That way you'll get the feel of the examination, and the standard of the questions. उसके बारे में भी you'll be a little versed with them, and that should help you. So I think we can take up questions now. No, I'm done. Personality test is after clearing prelims, main start hota hai. Mains ki preparation for that, answer writing is everything. Try to write as many answers as possible. People get these blisters on their hand by writing so many answers. Matlab, there is no limit to it. It is all about how much hard work you are willing to do and how desperately you want to get into services. Desperation is one of the most important things. You have to be very desperate to and then after answer writing and आपके answers, either you can get it checked from your group study, अगर आपका group है, कोई study group है, उसमें करवा लो, or just analyze on yourself by yourself कि मतलब there are a lot of model answers available. Try to check it and हो जाएगा. After clearing mains, which I hope you all do, comes the preliminary personality test. So personality test is basically nothing but they are going to have a good conversation with you. So whatever you've been doing so far, reading the newspaper and everything, वो सब आप करेंगे, and then they will just have, for example, your stand on certain situation. They will give you hypothetical situation. I was asked बहुत सारे hypothetical question कि attack कर देंगे तो what will you do? What is your take on certain aspect? A lot of questions from the optional were also asked. My interview went really well. I was very happy with my interview. And it was one of the toughest boards as well, but excitement bhi bahut zyada hoti na, because we're just one step closer to achieving your dream. And so just be very excited about the entire thing, and that excitement should be visible on your face as well. I mean, the board should be aware ki haan, this girl or this boy is actually so excited and wants to get into the service. That has a lot of impact. And if you don't know any answer, just be very clear ki, sir, I have no ideas, or sir, I really am not able to recall it. I'll read about it. Just the key to a good personality test for me, I feel, is complete honesty. And at the end of the day, I would say ki take care of your mental health throughout the process. It's very important. If you want to take up therapy, go for it. If you have good friends and family to talk to, who you can be very clear and very open about things, and that's the best thing ever. But be very careful about your mental health. For example, for some reason nahi ho pata hai, it's not the end of the world, right? As I told you, hard work sab karte hain, then luck also comes into play. And when luck comes into play, you are literally helpless. So do your bit. If things don't work out, it's all right. Whatever knowledge that you've gained is good enough for you to live a very good life as well. I mean, live as a very aware person rather than being an ignorant, right? So don't worry about it. Take care of your mental health, and it should be good. And I really hope all of you make it to the finalist as well, and I get to meet you all as well. Now I'll take up a few questions next 5-10 minutes mein, hai na?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great to listen to you. And now our discussion is open for some questions that have been posted by our participants in their Google form and chat as well. So, ma'am, our first question is, how can we manage UPSC preparation along with college studies? How much time one devote to the preparation of examination during the college?
So I would say if you're able to give at least 2 hours daily. So if you're in first year, so give 2 hours. If you're in your final year, then try to give it 3 hours. So 1 घंटा सुबह, 2 घंटा रात में. Or if you're a night owl, then make sure thoda, you'll have to give up on a few parties, and you'll have to sacrifice on a few birthdays and dates and all that. Thoda sa social life pe curb karna padega, because once you start preparing, social life becomes automatically becomes zero. ऐसा कोई rule नहीं है, but you'll be so engrossed in the studies, and if you want to relax, I mean, most of us just wanted to get a good sleep. So we were not very I mean, we didn't have much to do, so you can like do that. Along with managing studies, it's all about give priority to your college studies most firstly, and then go for these other things. You know, this UPSC and everything should come after you give priority to your college studies.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, our next question is asked by Manoj. What are things did you keep in mind while choosing your optional subject?
I think I answered this question, right? It should be aligned with your interest. So take a look at the syllabus. For example, I am an engineer, so I had no optional mere subject. I am an information technology engineer. Software engineer is not a subject yet. So I had to choose jo bhi tha. I knew I had to start from scratch. So I started looking at all these syllabus, sare syllabus dekhe, and then I had a look at what interested me and previous year's question dekhe ki question samajh mein aa rahe ki nahi aa rahe. Once I went through the entire process, and then I felt that sociology is the subject for me. But again, talk to your seniors, people who've been appearing for the examination, and if you have a good mentor, then that should help.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, what should be practiced? This question you answered, ma'am. So, when and how did you start your preparation? What was the motivation driving you?
So I started my preparation in. I had this in mind since my first year only, but third year se I started preparation. So third year and final year, मैंने थोड़ा बहुत I started reading the newspaper. I was not very consistent with my studies because I did not give up on my social life in college. So I was very much at all the parties. I was very much everywhere. So that kind of I felt cost me as well because first attempt में नहीं निकला. But then I have no regrets because I feel that experience in itself was very important and a very good part of my life. So I started third year say, and motivation was again, as I told you, बहुत beginning. First statement was that I was just fascinated by the way the country is working, and I wanted to be a part of the system that and be a part of the change that is happening in the country in whichever small capacity I can. And I felt this was the biggest. This is the only way I can contribute to the country's development in whichever capacity possible. But still, I'll have some chance.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, our next question is, what is your opinion on having a backup plan?
I have two opinions on it. दोनों ही थोड़े controversial है. Sorry. One is that if you have a backup plan, तो मुझे लगता है some people take it a little easy हो जाते हैं. That if I don't clear it, I anyway have this. And वो desperation level थोड़ा सा down हो जाता है. If you don't have a backup plan, then you know that I am screwed if I don't get this. So you start preparing उस direction में थोड़ा सा that. But then I feel that so again, age is just a number, I know. But till 25, I feel if till you're 25, without backup plan, you can do. But after 25, I think you should have a backup plan. Either you should have a plan of pursuing higher studies, or maybe appear for other examinations, or maybe apply for a job. And aajkal zyada gap year is also not very good. I mean, at least for private sector, they don't encourage people with gap years, and they don't take in people. So have those conversations and be very practical about it as well. Backup plan is if you have a very steady backup plan with you, nothing better than it. But then don't get too comfortable with it as well. कि if I don't get this, तो मेरे पास ये तो बहुत ही खुशी अच्छा backup option है. I feel कि उस मामले में you might not give your best because that desperation will be lacking. So if you're able to do that, बढ़िया backup option भी है, and the desperation level is also really high, nothing better than that.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, one of the participants is asking one question that what all opportunities a person gets being an IRS officer?
So I am an IRS Customs and Indirect Taxes officer. So under us, basically we also have narcotics under us. We have customs under us. So abhi jo बहुत ही controversial cases हुए थे, I'll not name them, but you all know what I'm talking about. So those all were under our department only. So I think इतने ज़्यादा opportunities है that there's no end to it. At first you feel that revenue है, थोड़ा specialization हो जाता है, maybe थोड़ा restrict हो जाता है, but I think it's actually not at all the case. Customs में we went on attachments. I went to Kolkata for my attachment. It was almost a 6 weeks का attachment था, and we went to various ports जहाँ पे customs का regulation was important. Border पे जितने भी आते हैं narcotics हो गया, smuggled goods, everything. We do the passenger profiling जो airports में आ रहे हैं. So there are people who swallow a lot of drugs and they travel airplane में. So we have to catch them. मतलब I'm just telling you very बहुत ही layman language में जितना मैं बता सकती हूँ. But it's a pretty exciting job. I mean I can say it for the least जितना मैं बता सकती हूँ. Rest I'm not allowed to speak much. But it's really exciting. And you get to grow as a person as well. It's very nice. It's really motivating, and I think I feel really satisfied with my career life at least.
So much, ma'am. It's really inspiring. Our next question is asked by Tanishka. She's asking, ma'am, do you think doing internships are helpful in the preparation of UPSC, especially for the interview?
May I know exactly what internships?
Ma'am, related to like personality developments and all.
Acha. I think you should have a personality of your own. When you go to these personality developments, if they tap into your potential and they bring out the best version of yourself, that is great. But other than that, I think try to be honest with yourself and try to be honest to the panelist. Don't make or create a big or fake picture. That never helps. In fact, it backfires most of the time. If you have difficulty in speaking, there is one technique that look in the mirror and talk to yourself and make eye contact with yourself. Nothing awkward. There's nothing more awkward than that. And if you can overcome that, then I think public speaking and everything becomes really comfortable. This has been my experience. And if you think you need help, then go for it. But make sure that they don't dent your personality to impose something that they want you to have, right? Be clear of what you have and try to tap into the potential and become the best version. At least try to show the best version of at that moment in your life.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, our next question is asked by Mansi. She's asking, while preparing for the UPSC exam, current affairs of how many years should be studied?
So prelims, if it's happening in June of 2022, then current affairs from June of 2021, say at least you should be very well versed. और उसके पहले का हल्का फुल्का if you have थोड़ा बहुत knowledge 2-3 महीने पहले का should do. But June to 2021 to June 2022 for prelims, and for mains of September 2021 to September 2022. This I'm talking about for the 2022 examination.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, our next question is asked by Sukanya. She's asking, ma'am, what was your one of the most difficult moment while preparing for the examination?
Every day I wanted to give up. It was not at all easy. I would cry, I would not sleep, was not able to eat at times. I would not suggest that. Take help. That's why I'm saying that, take care of your mental health the most, because it takes a huge toll on you. So I would talk to my mother whenever I used to have bad days. Baki, for me, clearing prelims was the most difficult part. For some reason, I was not able to clear prelims. Once I cleared prelims, I cleared all the stages in one go. But prelims, mera thoda sa atakta tha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there's one more question. How was your interview? Could you share some tips?
Interview was very nice. I came out with a big smile on my face, just like smiling right now. Anyway, I just smile a lot. And that time also in my interview board, I was just smiling and I was really happy. And that excitement, as I just told you, wo dikh raha tha chehre pe. And I think that made all the panelists also smile at every answer of mine. Because even if the question was, how will you react to certain attacks? And I smiled and gave the answer, and that made the panelists also smile, and I think that got me really good marks. I got really nice marks in my interview. Tips were basically, I was honest. I was not trying to fake any emotion. I was very transparent. When I didn't know the answer, I very honestly told them, sir, I'm not able to recall when I was unable to recall. And when I didn't know anything, I just told them, sir, I haven't read about it, but I'll read about it. And I was just really honored to be in the board. I mean, in the interview round. I just felt that this moment will never come again in my life. So I need to make the most of it, and I need to just soak in the experience as much as I can. And I just did that. So just be true to yourself and be happy, and everything will else fall in place.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And your smile is really very beautiful.
Thank you.
Ma'am, our next question is, if a person is weak at maths or logical reasoning, what strategy should he or she follow for the preparation of CSET? Also,
Yeah.
how much time one should devote to the preparation of CSET in that case?
CSAT is really crucial. Nowadays, CSAT is also getting very tough by the day. CSAT ke liye there is RS Agrawal. If any math student here or from non-medical 11th, 12th, they would know RS Agrawal. As much as you dread it, just try to solve 10th standard ki RS Agrawal. And take a look at the previous year's question paper and try to solve it in time. Time is, I think people are losing out on time in CSAT, especially people who are not engineers or do not come from maths background. Thoda sa tough ho ja raha hai. So solve RS Agrawal and previous year's question paper and try to solve CSAT papers, or try to give time to CSAT wale optional ko or time paper ko at least 3 days in a week. If you are really weak in CSAT and all that, 3 to 4 days in a week should do. 1 ghanta hi de do, that will be enough, but don't take it lightly. And 3 months at least before prelims.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there is one more question on CSET. Is there some new strategy to be adopted considering in the CSET previous papers? If yes, what could it be?
Practice, yeah, there is no strategy to UPSC. It's all about practice and hard work. So try to, ek to hota hai, when you go into the examination, your state of mind is also very important. If you get all fussy and nervous in the examination, it will show in your paper, and you might not be able to perform your best or give your best. So stay calm. If you're not able to solve 4-5 questions or even a single page, so don't freak out. Give it some time. You know everything. Just tell yourself that you know it and you'll be able to solve it. ठीक है, एक आधा question में you might take a little more time than usual, but don't give up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there are few questions. One is, what all mistakes did you make while preparing for UPSC?
So my optional was not as much prepared as it should have been. So for that, you should try and be prepared with your optionals. So ज़्यादा time दो. Before prelims, try to cover your optional. Number 2 was prelims में I think I lacked practice. So solve as many test series as possible. Take a look at previous year's question papers, and बाकी सब हो जाएगा. बाकी सब ठीक है.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there's one more question. How was your experience in Labasna?
Lavasna was good. Lavasna is all fun and party and play and a lot of learning and a lot of growing as an officer, because they groom you. आपको raw material होता है ना, आप you're just a raw material. They see some raw potential in you, and then the grooming happens when you start your training. So both in Lavasna and now in Nasin, all I have been doing is learning as much as I can, growing as a person, as an officer, brushed up बहुत अच्छे से, grooming ho raha hai, and gaining as much experience as I can, making new friends. It's really nice.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question. What are the things that the examiner usually look for while checking the answer scripts of the candidates? What can be our step in that direction? How can we prepare for the answer writing basically in order to provide them what all they want?
You never know what the examiner wants, but one thing that you can do is quote many contemporary examples. So whenever a question is asked, try to link it with whatever current affair is happening. तो उससे क्या होगा, at least the person will know that this person is very well versed with what is happening and is able to relate such complex topics to what is happening around the world. तो observant इंसान है. he or she knows ki, haan, theek hai, if this is happening, then I can look at it from a sociological perspective, from financial perspective, from the environmental perspective. You should have a broad perspective. Try to cover all perspective to any question asked. कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे तो ट्राई टू टेल कि इसका एनवायरनमेंट पे क्या इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है, इसका फाइनेंस या इकोनॉमी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा, इसका पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा, इसका हमारे सोशल एस्पेक्ट पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा, इसका कास्टिज्म से क्या लेना देना, यू नो, एवरीथिंग ट्राई टू include all these points, so it will look like you are a well aware and well versed person.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering our queries in a pragmatic way.
It was really
Now,
nice talking to you all as well.
now I would like to take a moment to present you a vote of thanks on behalf of NISHTHA Society for taking out your precious time from your extremely busy schedule and for gracing this event. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude toward you for motivating the aspirants with your words, ma'am. Your valuable pieces of advice will definitely help the aspirants in expediting their journey of transforming their dreams into reality. A special thanks to our principal, Dr. Rama ma'am, and convener, Dr. Mahendra Prajapati sir, for providing their constant support to the society as well as to participants who turned up in such a great number and choose to go live with us. And last but not the least, a special thanks to our beloved President, Mr. Sunil Singh, and delegate team members who contributed tremendously towards the success of this session. The end of one chapter is just the beginning of another. Read on. The best part is always yet to come. With this, now I would like to announce the closure of session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you. And really sorry again for making you all wait for so long. I can imagine the impatience, but thank you for being patient with me. And it was an honor to be able to interact with you all. I hope to see you all in person as well. And I hope you all clear the examination with flying colors and become my batchmates or juniors, not batchmates, but juniors, and we get to meet very soon. So all the best to you all. And thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye.
Well, you all can leave.